Hello everyone, you are all welcome to today's tutorial. In this tutorial on API education, we are going to cover how we can create a GUI or the visuals for a digital clock using Pygame and Python. In this video, we are going to cover only the visual part, and the rest of the thing, that is functionality of that clock and improvements, or we can say the finishing touch, that would be covered in the upcoming video. So this particular software will be created in two videos, and these two videos will be available on the channel right here. So you must subscribe this channel and click the bell icon so that you will not miss the next video also. First of all, let me tell you the requirements we need. So first of all, you need to install Python and Pygame as well. After that, you need a few graphics projects which I have here, so you can manage to download these from the description. So I have an analog BGBNG, a background image, a digital clock UI layout, and the Python file itself, the hand images, and a square JPG. Okay, so let me show you the digital clock UI. This is a particular layout which I have created in MS Paint. Not much pretty, but this will be like a skeleton of our actual clock GUI, and we will be creating the clock's GUI according to this project like a blueprint. Okay, so please have a look at this picture. Yeah, you can see there is a top bar, then a main content bar, then a background image, a bottom border, and a few more things like these buttons, and here digital clock with API sign kind of logo. Okay, you can see an analog clock here and a time indicator here, so you can directly have a look at what the time is currently in AM or PM, and using the analog clock also. So this is a very basic you can say illustration for our clock, and our clock is not going to look like this at all. It is going to have this kind of structure but way better graphics. And for the background image and the main content square, I have two different graphic utilities. One is this bg.jpg and one is this square bg.jpg. So we will be creating this project with patience, and yeah, so by the end of this video you will be able to create it using Pygame. I will be explaining each and every aspect of how we are working with this. I'm using the IDE VS Code, okay, Visual Studio Code, and you can also download it. It's very easy to download it and set up it. If you have not yet installed or downloaded Python, VS Code, anything like that, my channel contains the videos related to it, and you can refer to those videos by I button or by description or wherever. I will be just linking those, and you can refer to those videos to learn how you can download and set up this environment before we go on. Okay, so let's start now, and I'm here in my digital clock to Py. Now I will import the required modules. These are import Pygame. Now for today we are going on to create only the GUI part. That's why I'm not going to import any functional modules right here to make it a simple video. I will initialize Pygame, pygame.init, and I will also import sys as a system module. I will import OS, I will import random, and yeah, that's it. We don't need any other modules for now. Okay, out of all these, Pygame is not inbuilt. You will have to install it using pip, and rest of the modules, they are already inbuilt in your Python libraries. Okay, so let's start with the first step. We are going to create a 16:9 screen, and for that we will be writing here G screen, okay, or clock screen, or whatever name you want to give. You can give to this variable, it doesn't matter, equals pygame.display.setMode. okay, and here you will give a tuple saying 16 multiplied by k comma 9 multiplied by k. Now 16 multiplied by k and 9 multiplied by k is the size in pixels, and 16 and 9, this is to I have done this to set an aspect ratio to 16:9 only, and k will be a constant value. Let's put it to 35 in this case. We can have experimental values for k, and we can just put a value which suits the best to our clock. Okay, I will now set a title for it, so I will say pygame.display.setCaption. I can set a caption, digital clock UI by API education. Yeah, so we are all set. Our screen is created, but it will lag right now. Okay, First of all, it will crash because it has nothing to do right now. We have just created the screen, and since it has nothing to do, it will crash if we will execute this file right now. To protect this thing, to avoid this crash, we will create a function game loop, okay, or you can say main loop also. Now it is according to the habits, doesn't matter what names you are giving to these functions. So game loop, and then we can write an infinite loop inside, and I will say pass, and then we can call the game loop function. And yeah, now the screen is not going to crash, it will be constantly in front of us, but as we will click the cross button, or we will try to close the screen, or we will try to interact with it, it will become irresponsive. This is because it still is not doing anything. It is only iterating infinitely an empty loop which has nothing to do for it. Now for that, we will start with our first step inside our screen, and that is going to be handling events. To handle those events, I will write here, instead of pass, for event in pygame.event.get, I can say if event.type equals pygame.quit, then pygame.quit to close the screen itself, and sys.exit to close the Python program execution itself. And now our screen is going to be responsive, not actually by the means of size, okay, not responsive in size, but it will be responsive in its behavior, okay, so it will not lag. And yeah, we can execute it now. After saving using Control and S, we can try to execute it, and it takes a little bit of time for the execution to begin the first time, so we'll have to keep some patience for that. Okay, so here is our screen, digital clock UI by API education, and you can see that the screen is responsive. I will click the cross button, it will just terminate itself, and it is a blank screen, okay, nothing special yet. But I think we need to increase the size of the screen. It is 16:9 aspect ratio, okay, but the size is way too small, so I'll have to increase the value of k. And let me explain you now how all this code which I have written, the 16 lines of code, they are working. So first we increase the value of key to 55, and maybe this will solve our problem, and the screen size will be good enough now. This time it is not going to take that much longer, so you can just have patience. Yeah, this is a decent size for our screen, and yeah, it's not lagging nor it is crashing. It's great. So first of all, in this code till now, I have created a screen in my GScreen variable, and I have set its mode to 16:9 aspect ratio, that is 16 multiplied by k, 9 multiplied by k in pixels over the screen. Then I have used the pygame.display.set caption function to set a caption or the title for the screen, which you can see over the left top corner. And then I have created a function game loop, which will be having an infinite loop for the screen to iterate over, and this infinite loop has a for loop which is handling the events using event in pygame.event.get. Now pygame.event.get is a kind of function which gives you an array which contains the details of all the event objects which are being carried out by the user. Suppose it is a mouse click or a keyboard input or something like that. After that, out of that kind of input, we are checking for a specific input, event.type equals pygame.quit. That means clicking the cross button. And when we click the cross button, pygame.quit, this is a function which executes the function, and it will just terminate the pygame screen. After that, we are executing sys.exit, and this will terminate the Python execution, and this program will be completely turned off. So this is all we have done till now. Everything is smooth. Now we can create a few colors here. So I can write here defining colors which we will be using. So a few major colors are white, we will have to give the RGB values here, 255, 255, 255. Then we can give maybe red equals 255, 00, and black for 000. Okay, so these three colors we will be having in our project, and we can also have many more colors. You can create these color codes using your paint window, or you can just search on Google and you will get the color codes for any respective color. But we are not in the need of these colors. We are just defining them to be used once or twice, maybe in our during the production process. Yeah. Now we will turn our screen to white first of all, because a black screen is not looking pleasant. For that purpose, I will write here G screen dot fill, and I will give white here. So the screen will be filled by white, and now we need to update the screen. So whenever we are making some change over the screen, we are drawing something or deleting something, we will have to call the function which is known as pygame.display.update, which will be updating the screen, and we will see the latest changes over there. Now our screen is white, and we can now just start blending our objects over the screen. So let's have a look at our layout. You can see our layout here. Okay, I don't need to open it up. I will have to create a top bar and a bottom bar, and I have decided to create a light blue kind of theme for my project. So okay, let's define one more color here, which is going to be blue, okay, or sky blue, you can see. And now how to guess for the color? Okay, first of all, we know RGB, so the last one is blue. I can write 00 and 255. Now I want it to be as light as possible, and for that reason I can say 255 is the best choice, because if it is near to 0, it will be darker in color. So let's try with 255, and if it is not equal to what it is not looking appealing, then we can change the color later on. So 255 is purely blue here, and now I can create a top bar. But how to create a top bar? That will be just a rectangle, I think. Okay, it will look decent if it will be only a rectangle. Yeah, everything is going nice. Oh, yeah, I forgot to start the Pygame. Okay, never mind. So now what to do? Now we need to draw a rectangle, and for drawing a rectangle, it is pretty simple. After gscreen.fill white, after filling the screen from white color, we can draw a rectangle here. I will use pygame.draw.rect function. Then I can give the surface over which I want to draw this rectangle, that is gscreen, then color blue, and then a list which goes on with first the coordinates 0, 0, because it is in the top in the left. So let me tell you one thing. The axis on this Pygame screen, the y-axis is inverted and the x-axis is the same as in your Cartesian system. This means that if you are going up, the coordinates in y decrease, and if you are going down, the coordinates in y increase. Okay, they are not going in negative direction over the screen. So if you will move from top to bottom, the coordinates in y will increase, and if you will move from left to right, the coordinates in x will increase, and vice versa. So 0, 0 is going to be the top left corner of the screen. Then we can give the size. So size in x will be 16 multiplied by k, that is the total size of the screen in x direction, and size in y we can give it something like 50 pixels. Yeah, I think this is going to be fine, and let's execute and see how it looks right now. You can see it is looking pretty good. Okay, so our screen is white and we can see the top bar which is blue in color here, and I think this just looks perfect. Okay, we don't need any change here. Now let's create the bottom bar as well, so that we will be finally up with our margins. So let's create the bottom bar, and the bottom bar is going to leave a few margins here. Pygame.draw.rect, I will leave a margin of 2 pixel by 2 pixel on both the width and the height. So gscreen again this is also going to be blue, and then instead of 0, 0, now I will put it to the end. So in y it will be 9 multiplied by k minus 2 and minus 50, which is its size. Okay, the minus 2 is, or I can directly write minus 52. 2 here is the margin which I am leaving from the bottom, and 50 here is the size of that particular bar, because we are giving the coordinates according to the top left corner. So we will have to keep in mind that we are also reducing the size of that particular box, so that the box must be over the screen, not over outside the screen area. Okay. In x, again the coordinates will be only 2, and then now the size. So in x it is 16 multiplied by k minus 4. Now minus 4, not minus 2, because we are leaving a margin from both the sides. And in y the size will be 50 pixels. Okay, yeah, so let's see, it should look nice. Okay, Pygame no attributes raw. Okay, there's a spelling mistake here. Instead of draw, it's a typing mistake actually, not a spelling mistake. Never mind. Okay, so you can see here something is weird going on here. Let's check. J screen blue 9 into k minus 52 comma 2. Okay, this is good. And then I think I can write it like this here, 16 into k minus 4. Okay, blue 9 into k minus 52 and 2, and 16 into k minus 4 and 50. Yeah, I think this must work. We will check about it. So let's change its color to black so that we will be able to see it also where it is. Temporarily we are changing the color to black to debug where our rectangle is showing up on the screen. Oh yeah, it is having a strange kind of, let me check, size in x. Okay, so there's a little problem. I've misplaced the size in x and size in y, so this must be size in x, not in y. And instead of minus 52 I will write here minus 4, and here comes the size. Oh, actually again this is position. Yeah, so size in x here 16 into k minus 4, and size in y will be 50. Position in x is 2 here, and position in y will be 9 into k minus 52. Yeah, this must solve the problem. Yep, it is pretty good. Now we can change the color. So the problem was with the order of the these coordinates. We can change the color back to blue, and yeah, now we can proceed with our layout. It's done now. So now we need to blit our central image part over the screen, and for that we will have to use a simple alignment math. I will create a image function here. So def im stands for image. I will give image name, and then I can give size in X, and then I can give size in Y. Okay, so these are the positional arguments here, and I will just say that img equals pygame dot image dot load, and I will give image name here. I'm expecting the user to include the extension of the image name here only, and then I can write here dot convert alpha to convert the particular image to an alphanumeric string, so that we will be able to blit it again and again in every iteration. Then I am writing here img equals, we need to transform the size of this image to fit our screen perfectly, and for that we have taken already image with 16:9 aspect ratio for our background, and accordingly I am writing here pygame dot transform dot scale. I can write here image comma a new size for our image, that is 16 into, or no, it is size X comma size Y. Okay, and then we can return this image, and yeah, we are done here. But we can do a few more things here, like I will write show equals true. So this is a default argument to have show equals true, and if show is actually true, then I am going to return this image. Otherwise, we can write here else return image dot get rect dot size. So I am returning the size of the image in X and Y. So in case if we don't want the image here, we just want the size of that particular image, then we will be getting it. Okay, but now see, size X and size Y we have already transformed it, so I can move this whole thing to a new function here, that will be my text on function. Text color size X Y and show equals true. Okay, now please pay attention here. I am cutting all this part and just writing return image over here. Okay, and here I will write the same thing, return image. Okay, instead we can write here return BLZ. So let's proceed on with creating a text function here. So I will define a font here, pygame dot font dot sysfont, which stands for system font. Then we can give the particular font here. So I will be taking the font as well. Font equals, and I can give none here. So none stands for system default font. So if I will write here none, that means no particular special font is required, only a system font is required. I will turn it to BLZ, and then I can create font comma size, and then I will render this font to BLZ, which is an image. I can write font dot render, and I will write here now text true and color, which color, which text, and true is for blittable image. Now we can return, but we are not going to return BLZ over here, and instead we are not going to return it, we are going to just show it over the screen right here. So I will write g screen dot blit. I will give BLZ as the image and X and Y as the coordinates of this text, particular text. Okay, and if this show is true, then only it is going to be shown over the screen, otherwise it will be returned. What will be returned? The size of the text which we have created till now. So we have created two more functions here, the text function and the image function, and how to use them I will be showing you in a few couple of minutes. One more function will be required here, and that is align function, to align a particular thing, and especially I am creating this align function for alignment to the center. I have told about this align function, which is a really very important function in Pygame, in my short videos also. You can watch that video also of this one. And here I am going to tell you only about the central alignment, start and end alignment. I will not be telling you here because it is not required as and when. So okay, now I can give here the object size and the parent size. Okay, we only need two things, object size and the parent size for alignment, and then I will write here. Now how I try to understand the concept. Okay, object size and the parent size. Now whatever is the size of the object, suppose 4, and the size of the parent is 10, how will you give a central coordinate, a central position to your object? If you will multiply the difference between two sizes to 1 by 2, you will get the exact coordinate of that object, which will place the object in the center of the screen or the axis. Try to understand this thing. Suppose if screen size is 10 and object size is 4, the difference between them is 6. Divide 6 by 2, that is 3. That means at coordinate 3, you will get a particular perfect central coordinate for your object to be placed. If you will place a 4 units object at 3 coordinates, it will have 3 more coordinates on the right side. So it will be perfectly in the center. Okay, so same thing I am going to do here. I will return parent size minus object size, obviously because according to common sense the size of the parent is more than that of the object, divided by 2. And I will use a bracket here, and I am using the flow division to return only an integer because I will not be interested in handling floating point values here. Okay, so this is the central alignment function. It is a major topic, alignment, and I have told you about this in my previous videos, so please have a look at those videos. And now let's first of all use our image function to blit a particular image over our screen, and that is our background image. I will be creating the object for our background image here, bg equals im. I will give only the required im, not img. I will be giving the image name. So image name is bg.jpg, I think. Let me have a confirmation here. So bg.jpg, yeah. And then I will give 16 into k comma 9 into k as the size x and size y coordinates. After this I can blit directly this image here. After this cheesecreen.fill, I will write cheesecreen.blit to show this image over the screen bg comma at the coordinates 0 comma 0. Yeah, and our background image must be here. So let's have a look at how our screen actually looks now. Yeah, it's looking really nice now. Okay, background image is very great here. And let's blit our central square and the main content inside it. So for that we will be using the align function. So let's see the size of central square. Let's decide it to be 500 comma 500 pixels. I'm just throwing a random arrow here for size. So square equals image. I will be loading the image again. Oh, it's im function, not img, and the name is square bg.jpg. I will be giving square bg.jpg. You can use png images here as well and many other formats also, but I'm just using whatever I got. How to design these graphics I will be telling you later on in some other video. That's not the topic for today. You can download these graphics directly from the description of the video. So square we have created here, and we will get the coordinates where we need to blit using our align function. So gscreen.blit, I am giving here square and then For x alignment, I will give the values according to x. So parent size in x is 16 multiplied by k, and the object size is 500 pixels. Okay, and I forgot to write here align, so I will write here align function, and it will return an integer value for x. Similarly, we will write here 9 into k for y and 500 in y as well. And here our screen must contain the square image also here. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, it looks good, but again there is some problem. It is blurring in the start instead. 500 500 pixels was too much. I think I must reduce the size to 250. And here also I will reduce the size to 250. I was just trying to guess the size and that arrow went too big. I think maybe 250 will be smaller in size. And again, align function is returning the perfect thing, I think. Let's check once again. Our align function, parent size minus object size, okay, divided by 2. And yeah, let's check it now. Now we are not able to see it. Let me solve the problem. So definitely the align function is creating some blunder here. Okay, gscreen.build square, align 16 into k comma 250, align 9 into k comma 250, x and y. Okay, so this seems to be good. Where is the problem? So this must be blitted. Object size first, parent size later on. Oh, here is the problem. I gave parent size initially and object size later on. So the order, again the order is the problem. Let's change the order. Object size. And yeah, I think this is going to solve the problem now. And yeah, our object is well placed in the center now. Okay, let's increase the size a little bit, because now our issue is solved. So we can increase the size from 250 to I think 400 will be enough. And we can have it some rectangular shape also. Square is not necessary. Okay, because our align function will be able to align it to the center even if it is not in square. Okay, it is working on independent axis after all. I think I must reduce the size again. Okay, I will reduce the size and go on with this. 300, 300, 300 and 300. Okay, one more time before we start blitting our analog clock and the time over here. Perfect. So this is our image which we are going to use as a background for our main content. And now according to our layout, we need to blit 3 more things over the screen before we can set the UI to a completed UI. The thing is our time, our analog clock, and the title over here. Okay, so a title, we already have the caption, but still we need to give a title over the top bar, and I will be feeling more interested to blit it in this center. Okay, first of all, let's change the thing here. Okay, align, I will write SQ align X, SQ align Y, and these two coordinates I will be saving in these two variables. So SQ align X equals, oh, I forgot to copy that, align. Okay, and here comes the parent size, which is 16:9, 16:k, comma, object size 300, and SQ align Y equals 16, instead of 16 we will write 9 into k, align, and then 300 again, and yeah, that's done. SQ align X and SQ align Y, done. Now we have these two coordinates to use for our later purposes. Now we need two texts here, so I will be using the text function finally, and we need to align it to the center. Okay, so I'll be using the text function. So time align text equals time align text equals, and now I will be creating the X and Y coordinate. So it will be x1, and it will be let's say time align text Y equals, now I will use the text on function to blit a time. So let's give the text, and text is going to be, suppose 723, as it is in our layout. We must have 2 digits here as well, and AM. Okay, I know AM will be in capital, but we can solve it later on. And right now, for simplicity, I am writing it like this. And then color, doesn't matter what color it is because it is not being going to be shown on the screen. Then size, I am keeping it as 50, and then X and Y, so I can give 0, 0 since we are not going to show it, and then show will be turned to false, and then we are just getting a return value in time align X, Y. Okay, great. Now we got the X and Y sizes, so we can align it again. So I can write here after blitting this square here, I will write text on once again, and I will write the same text here, 0723 AM, comma, now I will write here the second thing, that is color. So color, let it be red for now, and then size must be same as I took before, that is 50. Then X and Y, I will use the align function to align it to the center. Now parent size, what is the parent size now? Parent size is going to be 300 because it is inside the square. Object size is going to be time align text X, and after aligning it to the center, we need to add the SQ align X here, and yeah, that's done. This was for X. Now we can do the same thing for Y also. SQ align Y plus align. I will use here the same thing again. It is going to be 300 comma time align text Y. Okay, yeah, that's done. And after X and Y, we have here show equals true. Okay, let it be true and nothing else. Okay, so the text must be, now we will be able to see the text in the center, but we certainly want this text not to be in the center. Okay, so I can say here, instead of all this thing, instead of all this, I can set here only 10. Okay, and yeah, so this must is leave the space for the analog clock as well. Yeah, perfect. Now we need to blit two more things. One is text and one is the image of the analog clock here. So let's do this quickly, and our UI will be considered complete after that. We need to click create the clock object as IM, an image, and IM. So what is the name? Name is analog BG. So I have two images here, analog BG and the hands, which are two different things. Dot PNG, I think. Yeah, in this case this is PNG, and then I can write the size. So it will be 250 comma 250, and we can just blit it over there using the align function. So align function is very useful for us in this case. G screen dot blit, I can write clock comma, give the alignment values. I will align it to center of 300 comma its own size is 250, and I will give here SQ align X plus. Similarly, one more, that is SQ align Y plus align 300 comma 250, and instead of 300 comma 250 I can write here 290, because I have left let it be 300 for now. The things will go complicated otherwise, and this will be in the center of our square image. Okay, yeah, perfect. Now our analog clock is over the screen. Hands, that contains the functional part. That's why we will be blitting the hands in the next upcoming video after their rotational value. And the last thing left here is the title over the top bar. So over the top bar we can set a title very easily, text on, and I can write here analog clock by API education. Yeah, and now I can give the whatever the next coordinate comes, color black, then size it must be 40, then X and Y. So X will be center, so now I don't know these sizes, so I will be I will have to get the sizes here. Yeah, so let's mark it as a comment here and get the size of the title. I will write title size X comma title size Y equals text on, and quickly completing all these entries. Our text is the same text we have wrote below, and the below written text is analog clock by API education. I will be writing the same thing here, analog clock by API education, and then the color doesn't matter, whatever it is, size 40, and then X and Y 0,0, and then finally show equals false. And this will return the size to us, and in the very next step we can use these sizes to blit it here. So let's remove this comment from here, and now I can write align. The size of the parent in X is 16:k, and then the object size, and the object size is going to be what size we got there, title size X, and then align 50 comma title size Y, and this gives us the centrally aligned title as well. Okay, so this must work now. Let's have the look of our final UI which we have created till now, and if there is any sort of problem now, we can sort it now. Okay, yeah. So the clock's size, I think it is disturbed for some odd reason, I know, and the title is not visible. So let's check it out. First of all, the size of our clock 250, 250, it was perfectly given. Then what is the reason? Size in X, I think it can be increased. So one reason can be that the image which we are using is rectangular, and that's why we are observing this kind of a size issue. So the solution is to convert this image to a square image. It must not be a rectangular image, but that we are not going to do right now. That we will be covering in the next video. So right now let it be what it is, or we can just increase the size in X. Let's increase it to 550, and that's going to solve the problem, maybe not at a much larger extent, but yeah, but increasing it will create problems in the align function. So as a whole, I'm not going to increase it now. The reason behind this different shape of our image is that it is not square in shape. So I can go to edit it. Let me tell you how we are going to do it. Once I click edit, I can just copy this clock image here to be a square, and we'll delete everything, paste it here, and reduce the size. And now I can use the resize option, go to pixels, and it will be 152, 152, so that it is perfectly a square, and then we can save it. But now it has lost its transparency. I will fix it by the next video, and our clock must be perfectly in the center now with a perfect shape. So just waiting for it to be executed once again. Yeah, it is perfectly shown now, but it has lost its transparency. We will fix it by the next video. And now the last thing left is, because we are blending our title over here, but I think I must not be using the align function for the y coordinate of our title. So instead of 50 title size y, I will just write 50 here, and that's going to solve my problem at a good extent. yeah, you can see the title appearing here. We must reduce the coordinates in y. So instead of 50, I will give it 25. Now align function was not working here because of extravagant size, because we have not seen what the size of our text is going to be. So that's why extravagant size problem. We can solve it also in the next video, but it will give a few more lines of code, and my duration of this video does not allow that thing. So I am not going to solve it this time. We will just reduce the coordinate in y manually, and that's going to work for us. Now executing this thing for the one last time, and I hope you like this video, my explanation. If you have any queries or suggestions, can you please comment down in the comment box, because I like an interactive audience. And this UI was good enough to start with your first Pygame project. I hope you will be doing great with your Pygame project, and yeah, please make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you will be able to watch the upcoming videos. And see, now we are not able to see it. Actually it was centrally aligned, but the problem is that our text must be after this. So I will use this button here, Alt plus down arrow key, so that it comes over it, and we can now execute it one last time to see our final view. Yeah, pretty good. So our square, our timing, our analog clock, and our analog clock title, it's all set. And now corrections to be made are that when our analog clock image will be transparent once again, because due to editing in Paint the transparency was lost. I will do it once again before the next video, so at that time you will be able to see the time from behind it. And analog clock by API education title, we will be able to see it at a perfect position using the align function once again. So that we will be doing in the next video, and also we will be covering about the functionality of these clock, the time. So today we have completed with the GUI. Thanks for watching, and keep watching, and make sure to watch the next video to complete this project and make the clock functional. Thanks for watching, and keep watching.